The next one is from Alexander Cruel, a lengthy question. Would you actually want to live within one of the realities depicted in your books? To be more precise, among all science fiction stories you've ever read, is there a certain fictional setting that you would like to see come true? For example, Ian Banks's culture. Would you want to be part of it? In other words, which depiction of physics, culture, and technology appearing in science fiction literature would you choose to live in? Further, and more interesting, can you name a prospective future that you'd personally call dystopian? My question is specifically aimed at far future scenarios where we, or something that originated from Sol, survived. I assume nobody would want to live in a post-apocalyptic end-time low-tech Earth. Finally, what do you think is the most probable future? Bit of a sprawling question there, so I'll give a sprawling answer. Yes, I would like to live in the polity, and I would certainly like to live in Mr. Banks's culture. The one big advantage both of these have is that your eventual visit to the mortuary can be suspended indefinitely. Kind of future I'd want, where we really have time to live and the human race has room to expand. To go on to answer a couple of the last bit, covering dystopias, I wouldn't much enjoy the future that I think is quite likely, which is a totalitarian world government with the kinds of information and monitoring technology that make it unassailable, where every citizen is a slave of the state and is even being told how to think. The kind of society where you can't even enjoy the freedom in your own head. Sparks again. Do you ever worry yourself with the level of violence you're capable of dreaming up? Ever get that moment where a character just gets away from you and does something utterly savage you're not entirely sure where it came from? It doesn't worry me at all. When a character does something utterly savage, he hasn't got away from me. I'm relishing every detail, really. JMC. This stems a little from a earlier discussion on the in the comments. There's a scene in the Skinner where the Skinner's head sprouts legs and scuttles off, and it's very much like a scene from the remake of the film The Thing. He asks, I recognise the scene of the Skinner's head sprouting from The Thing as well. What other movies or scenes from them have influenced your work? Like with the books, every single film that I've watched and enjoyed. But there is nothing new about them. Going for a specific example, you might think that the Gollum androids are a straight steal from the Terminator, but not really. The idea of humanoid robots wrapped up in skin, whether that's living skin or plastic skin, has been around for a long time. I recollect very old issues of Analog with like pictures of people on the front cover with a lump of skin missing from the arm and all the electronics visible inside. I guess the best answer would be I was seeing a great deal of this stuff in my mind from when I started reading science fiction about 35 years or so ago. Modern science fiction and fantasy film has just filled in a bit more of the detail, I think. Now, Mr. Magoo asks, ebooks. Well, I've signed contracts for my stuff to be turned into ebooks, and believe they can be obtained through iPhone, but I'll ask my publisher more about this and do a detailed post up on this blog at some point in the future, I think. Next one's Andy Brown. I love the polity. Any thoughts on sharing the universe with other authors? No thoughts like that at all. They can keep their sticky fingers off. Next bit. Do you ever play war games? I'm thinking, or I'm talking old school, like Panzer Blitz. Well, I don't know what Panzer Blitz is, though I can guess. No. After one time playing Patience all day on the computer, I deleted every single game in a fit of self-disgust. I find the internet itself is enough of a distraction. And if I started getting involved in some of the modern computer games, which look very good, you would never see another book from me. Last bit. Not a question. I'd love more stories with Afran, Jack, NEJ, King of Hearts. They're three of my favourite characters. I love the idea of redemption. Okay. Well, thanks for that, Andy. And thanks to all of you for giving me a chance to waffle on here. And have a Merry Christmas.